The Showdown. With Showdown Joe on Toronto Sports Radio, the Fan 590.
All right, Chuck, it's been a long time since we last saw you. There was a hamstring injury. Can you bring us up to speed on what happened to your leg there?
Oh, yeah, I was training. I tore it pretty bad. I mean, it was a good tear. They said it tore most of them, had strains all throughout the muscle. But yeah, it's completely healed now, so I'm happy and ready to go.
Yeah, we saw the picture of the back of your hamstring there. It was pretty bad. How was the rehab getting you ready for your upcoming fight?
It was great. It went great. The guys, Creekside here, rehab place here, helped me every day for a while there, and then we switched out a couple days a week, and then just kept training. I trained all the way through. I was swimming back in the pool, swimming as soon as a couple days later. I was working pretty hard.
Good stuff. Now, the last time you actually fought in the Octagon, UFC 79, was December 29th of last year. Any concerns with ring rust at all?
Not at all. I'm not worried about it. I mean, I've been in shape. I've been training. I'm really sharp. Everything's going good. I feel great, so I'm not worried about it at all.
Now, it's safe to say that Chuck the Iceman Liddell is the face of the UFC, or at least one of the faces and ambassadors of the UFC. Did you ever picture your life would end up this way as a superstar, a guy that no matter where he goes, he gets stopped everywhere?
Honestly, I can't say that I did think it would get like that. I always thought the sport would get there eventually. I thought it would take a lot more time. It's pleasantly surprised. It's been great. The sport's growing this quick and allowing me to, reap some of the rewards before I retire.
Absolutely. Now, the beauty of my job is I get to see you almost every time at a UFC, whether it's in Vegas or not. You seem to always pop up there, and you're always there signing autographs, smiling for the fans. But there's got to be times in situations where it can potentially get frustrating. I remember Dana White saying in the Ultimate Iceman special, we had to pull Chuck back and ask him to slow down. You try to, make, my big thing was before, like when I first got started, you got so many requests for so many things, and you keep pushing them off right after the fight, and you commit yourself to doing so many things, and I'm just not good at pulling out of things. And once I tell someone I'm going to be somewhere, I try to be a man of my word. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm there. So, it's really hard, and, it's really hard, but you start thinking, it's not too bad. If you're okay, I'll do it then. I'll do that. But then by the time you're done, you're on the road for a month and a half, just trying to do all the things that you pushed off till after the fight. Absolutely. Unfortunately, that's what most guys coming up in the industry don't realize is to get to the level of Chuck Liddell, there's a lot of things, unfortunately, that you have to do outside of the Octagon. But your next fight, Rashad Evans. First things first, what are your thoughts of having to fight a guy that's coming from the Ultimate Fighter reality show?
Well, I think it's great. I mean, I think it shows that... the guys from the early show that done well. I mean, shoot, a guy from my season's got the title in my weight right now. So, everything works out all right, and I'll be fighting him soon too.
Absolutely. Now that brings me to a question I was going to ask a little later on. We'll touch on it right now because you brought it up. You were his coach for the Ultimate Fighter 1 when Forrest Griffin did what he had to do. Obviously, there's been some sort of improvement in his game. How do you match up with a guy like Forrest Griffin?
I match up great with him, but we'll worry about that and doing the matchup once I get the fight signed.
Absolutely. Now, Rashad Evans, like we said, he's next. A great wrestler whose striking game has absolutely improved. What kind of threat does he pose to yourself?
Well, like you're saying, he's a great wrestler, and he's got good hands. So it's going to be, he moves quick. He's elusive, hard to hit a little bit. So it's going to be, chasing him down and getting my hands on him.
You think he's going to play a running game or a counterpunching style? Because, I mean, you have that sort of counterpunching style, but if you get too close to you, you're going to throw that bomb. You think he's going to try a counterpunching style with you?
I'm not sure. I'm prepared for just about anything he can do, but, the only thing with that counterpunching style, it makes it real hard to take a shot on somebody.
Now,
if you're backing up, counterpunching, it's hard to take that shot. You try to take a shot when you're backing up, so at some point he's going to have to come after me.
That's correct. Now, you look at one of his training partners, Keith Jardine, a former opponent of yours. So these guys are from the same camp in Greg Jackson. If you were fly on the wall paying attention to these training sessions, what do you think Greg Jackson's trying to tell Rashad Evans to do against Chuck Liddell?
Well, I'm not even going to worry about what they're trying to do. I mean, I don't see them having the same game plan for they're two totally different fighters. So I don't see why they would try to fight me the same.
Absolutely. You're listening to the Showdown. I am your host, Showdown Joe. On the line with me right now is the Iceman, Chuck Liddell. Chuck, you got that big bullseye on your back. It seems everybody wants a piece of Chuck Liddell. Most recently, Ed Suarez and Anderson Silva's manager have come out and said they would love for the UFC to put a fight on with Chuck Liddell. Does that disturb you at all, those types of occurrences where you're trying to concentrate on Evans, but other guys are still challenging Chuck?
Well, it's the first I've heard of it, or actually it's the first time today, but yeah, it's fine. I mean, that's what you want. I mean, you want to be in a position where everybody wants to fight you. So, that means you're doing something right. If guys want to fight you, it means you're doing something right.
Absolutely. Now, he's considered one of the pound-for-pound best fighters on the planet, but the way I look at it is I remember when BJ Penn wanted to challenge Matt Hughes way back when. Matt Hughes felt insulted that this guy from a lower weight class wants to come up and he thinks he can compete in the welterweight division. Do you feel slighted sometimes when you hear about a guy like a middleweight like Anderson Silva saying, hey, you know what, you only fought once in the light heavyweight division. You want to fight me?
No, not at all. I mean, he's a quality opponent and a quality fighter. Great, like you said, one of the best fighters out there right now, and I think he can compete. I still think I'll be a little bit big for him, but I'll hit a little harder than he's used to getting hit. But it'll be a good, interesting fight, I think.
Absolutely. Now, you're coming to Toronto. The station's based in Toronto here. You're coming in a couple of weeks, or in a couple of months, to Toronto. Right now in Toronto, there's Shogun. He's in town. That's a guy you were supposed to originally fight at UFC 85. Is that something in the future, later on, you'd like to fight a guy like Shogun?
Sure. I'm sure sooner or later that'll come around, too. Honestly, right now I'm worried about Rashad. We can talk about different fighters and possible fights, and me, I'll fight anybody, whoever makes sense, whoever they want me to fight, I'll fight.
For sure. Now, a fellow light heavyweight, a guy that you fought twice before, Quinton Jackson, he's had a rough time since he lost the title. Any sympathy or any sort of, what were your thoughts when he went through what he went through, that sort of quote-unquote rampage that he went through?
Yeah, I hope everything's all right with him. That's just not him. He's a great guy. He's got, it's out of character for him. I mean, I've been around him a lot, in the past, and he's always been carried himself well, and he's a funny guy and has a good time, but never anything off like that. So I don't know what happened.
All right, we'll take this another direction right now before we end off this interview. You had a little feud going on with a Kimbo Slice, and Kimbo's in a heavyweight division. You're in the light heavyweight division, and he said he'd like to fight you, but Kimbo's now taking on Ken Shamrock. Your thoughts on that bout there?
I mean, well, I don't like to say anything bad about Ken. I mean, I like Ken, and I hope he's back and he can fight like he used to. But I don't think he's had quite a bit of trouble lately. I don't know if he can put it all together anymore. But I don't know where the feud with me and supposed feud with me and Kimbo. He's trying to he's using my name, challenging me just to make a name for himself. But I don't have a problem with him. I've met him a few times, and I've never had a problem with him. And I just don't see. I really don't until he fights somebody and beats someone that's got a good record or done something. I don't see that as a real fight for me.
And most purists and analysts will concur with that. And I'll close off the interview saying this: you never choose your opponents. You let Dana and Joe Silva generally choose your opponents. But with the problems Elite XC is having, should they, disbandle sort of thing, and Kimbo Slice becomes available to the UFC, and should they sign him, would you ask for that fight?
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if they'd even give him that. They'd give him that fight. I mean, I'll fight them if they want to do it. I'm good with it. I'll end it for them.
There you go.
But it's not even there. And He's training. From what I understand, he's working with Boss. He's trying to learn the sport better, and at Pebble, he's trying to make a living.
There we go. I look forward to seeing you in less than a week, Chuck. We want to wish you the best of luck, and thank you very much for coming